Yo, what is good, everybody? I hope you all had a fantastic trading week last week. I flew home for spring break back to California, spent some time with my family, went snowboarding, doing a lot of hiking, got some new jewelry. I was talking about that in my last community post. Black diamonds, really nice cross, and make sure to go check out the community post to see that other stuff I posted. But anyways, I got an interesting video here today. There's a lot of stuff setting up in the markets. We got some very interesting setups on oil. Really just kind of the whole market in general. So make sure to watch this whole thing through. Make sure to show the video some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So to start off here, we got oil. Very interesting setup. It's almost looking bullish here. Now there's kind of like two things I'm looking at here. So I'm gonna first talk about kind of like the bullish thing I'm looking at. So this could be a wedge here. We played multiple wedges on this in the past. We played this run here with this wedge right here that you can see. This was a really nice move. Wedge is still my favorite pattern to trade. We played that one, and then we also played, I believe, this wedge, which you can kind of see from here. So, anyways, this could be a massive wedge. This is like a $20 move here. Assuming we get one more touch of this touch line right here, and that's when we can find the bottom. Look for that retrace, and it likes to wedges like to retrace to the golden pocket to the 50%. So that's the area I'd be targeting. You got bullish divergences on the daily. So these are pretty significant divergences here. It really looks like it's setting up for a nice bounce to the upside. But kind of like the contrarian view here, we could be hitting a recession. And technically we're in one, but you know, there's all that rewording in the documents or whatever. If you know what I'm talking about, that was from like a few months ago. But if that happens, we enter that recession. I would be looking for some. I'd be looking for the price to come all the way down to the 50s, the 40s, and even under 30s. So it's a really interesting spot here. So zooming back in here, we were looking for a breakout. It kind of exploded to the downside here. We were looking at that Bollinger Band and the Keltner channel. So Bollinger Band is that yellow line, Keltner channel is the blue line, and once this Bollinger Band starts getting really tight within the Keltner channel, you're looking at a breakout soon. So you can really see these yellow lines were inside the blue lines, and they were getting tighter and tighter, showing that consolidation and kind of that tightening volatility, and it exploded. So that's what you're seeing right now, all of that consolidation finally play out, and really interesting move here because I thought that would kind of dictate a bigger trend here, but then I saw these divergences, which this could just be some sort of like kind of a massive fake out and then just rip to the upside. But if it's a recession, you could be coming all the way back down because those fundamentals where the demand gets destroyed, no one's buying oil just plummets. That's what happened in COVID. That's why I went negative. I mean, the literal entire earth completely shut down, and as a result, demand for oil went to zero, literally zero. So very interesting. Really kind of just a week to watch. This is the kind of week where you just kind of want to watch oil, I think. So gonna be keeping an eye on that one for a big swing trade if it kind of gives us that opportunity. On to natural gas here. Very interesting setup. So if you're in the Discord, we took that short up here. We identified these 5 waves up, and we're looking for a retrace to at least this region. That's what happened, but it went below it, which that's not exactly what I wanted to see because if it looked like this, I'm going to draw this out. If the B wave, ended up here, C wave came down here, held the golden pocket, I would have expected something like this to a new high, but that wasn't the case, so it's a little concerning because once you get under the golden pocket, the odds of being bullish or going back up start to get a little low. Now, the 0.854 is sort of the line in the sand, and it's really fighting to hold that, but I don't know if it will. So natural gas as well, this, it's kind of at this make or break spot. If it breaks lower, I mean, it's astonishing, but you could see even more downside, even after all of this, which is absurd, but, it's natural gas, it's what it does. So you could maybe see some kind of waterfall all the way down to this line, which that is absolutely insane, but that's the trend line support I see. So that's what I would be watching as like a trend line. So natural gas, we're gonna see if it holds it. I'm not sure if it will. I don't really have a bias here, but yeah, we'll just have to see. U.S. dollar, we got the drop we were looking for. Again, wedges, they like to retrace to the 50% golden pocket. That's what happened. We went a little lower. We shot down to the 0.786, and it's an interesting region. This was an area I talked about in the like 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. I was thinking, there's kind of confluence with this golden pocket, as well as this previous resistance, where once we broke through it, we just rocketed to the skies. And now I was testing it as support, but it was very interesting because we kind of shot down through it pretty quickly, which definitely probably would have scared some people, but bounced right back up. I would assume a lot of shorts entered right here, kind of assuming that we broke support, but I guess it didn't, held it, and from here it's there's not too much to say. It might take a little bit to kind of like have some structure and sort of just like set up something. No, just from a glance, this is sort of what I see, a channel maybe. I say give it a few days just to kind of have something to work with. Not too much to say. We got that drop we're looking for. Now we just wait for the next setup. Apple here, we almost hit my target. I've been targeting this since January, maybe December, and we finally went into the gap. Now we didn't fill it, but we went into it. So I think I'm still looking for that gap to get filled. I think you can't see it on the daily, but you can see it on the hourlies. Yeah, so we didn't completely fill it, but we almost did. Now, this is kind of interesting. I believe there is a divergence on the daily. There is. Yeah, with the MACDs making a lower high, price is going higher. And I'm going to assume, I might be wrong, but I'm going to make the assumption that the volume has been going down as we're going up. So, yep. Volume really isn't supporting this move. It's going higher and the volume's sort of just slowly declining. So that's not what you want to see during a bullish move. You want to see something like a pickup in volume. That looks pretty healthy, big inflows of volume as you're going up. So that's not what you're seeing here. It's not supported by volume. It's not supported by momentum. So Apple, I think I might be getting bearish soon. Although these moves aren't symmetrical, which I would rather it be. I don't know. I'm going to give kind of an unlikely scenario, but a possibility. So you could see something like this. I don't know if that's going to happen. It totally could. That's not exactly crazy. That's only another less than $20. So crazy, that could happen, but it's filling that gap, and I think that's all it needs before going to the downside, maybe accept that gap. It looks like there's a couple cents, but regardless, this is my main target. It's getting hit, and we're just gonna kind of see what it does around here. Tesla. So nothing goes down forever, nothing goes up forever. We were talking about how the 2 hour was looking bullish. So we really did call out that bottom. 2 hours getting bullish, but the longer time frames are not bullish yet. I think we were looking at the daily. I forget which one we were looking at. It might have been the 4 hour. I do think it was the daily though. You can go check whatever it was. I was saying the overall trend is still bearish though. And the daily, it's trying to switch back to bullish, but I don't know if that can happen. That's just kind of something you're gonna have to wait for. I'd say maybe 2-3 days to kind of get confirmation. But if this is the B wave, so this is what we've been tracking. Whoops, hold on. So this is what we've been tracking. This is A, B, C. And C, we fill that gap. That's a pretty big gap. And from there, we could get to another high and get back up into this territory. You got a big gap up here. So we'll see how it does. I do think I want to be bearish here, but we'll give it I think it only needs 2-3 days to kind of decide. So we'll see what it does early on this week. Amazon. So this is pretty interesting. I think this could be setting up for a disgusting move here. This might be a massive, massive, massive wedge. This line and the bottom line. So if that is the case, we could be coming up to 140, and that is wild. That's a lot of upside here. Um, yeah, I mean that's what a wedge would do. So keep your eye on that kind of setup, because yeah, this area like right here, it's not. I don't think it's one line. It's sort of this like range right here. So I would be watching the low 100s. Yeah, low 100s. If you can break through that, you might be moving up to 140, 126 to 140. So keep your eye on this breakout. The one thing I don't really, um, I guess I was gonna say I wanted more confirmation from the MACD, uh, but it's already looking a little steady. I would like to see kind of a more parabolic path, but this is just kind of curling over, so it's not really showing exactly strength yet. I think it might need a day or two to kind of clear that up for us. So keep an eye on this thing. This could see an insane breakout. Lab U, um, we're just gonna go to Lab D. So we were talking about how this is probably gonna get a move back up here, and I said this could see a crazy move because it's been selling off for so long. And what do you know? This is almost 100%. So we just filled that gap. I believe that was an area I was targeting here. We filled it. I'm not really sure what to say from here. This is just kind of the spot where you wait for that next direction, that next move. This has been quite the move here, so we could definitely see a bounce. We're at the golden pocket of this entire move here as well. So uh, we'll see what it wants to do here. Um, Interesting spot. I'm not sure if there are gaps down here. Yep, there's a gap here. There's a gap here. So we could be going that low and then look for some sort of bounce, but uh, yeah, this should be seeing a bounce soon. Nothing goes up forever, nothing goes down forever. So keep an eye on this for a bounce. I wouldn't be in a rush, but this should get a pretty crazy bounce at some point. We're just gonna have to wait for it to bottom out, look for divergences. So, normally I like to see, yeah, no, it's not ready. You want to be patient with this because, yeah, this is one to wait a little bit for. So keep an eye on this one for a bounce. It might or probably does have some more downside. Patience will pay. Um, we already did oil. So on to semiconductors. Semiconductors are going crazy here. Doing some really weird stuff here. It's respecting these supports and stopping out a lot of people by going underneath it. It went underneath that low here. So, interesting spot. It hasn't really broken one of these. Like, it broke this support, but then it made a new support right away. And you have a line down here, which maybe you touch. So that could take it down near 10, but, the market fundamentally is absolutely just, it's garbage. There's no other way to say it. Just the way the Fed is doing everything, I mean, there's no way to fix it at this point. So at some point, the market is going to absolutely plummet, like just free fall for maybe a good few weeks, few months, and it already has been, but it's just been a slow bleed over the course of a year. But because that's not what I'm really trying to say here. Yeah, semiconductors. Where's the one I wanted to look at? I gotta bring it up quick. So this is the main ETF that those other leveraged ETFs move off on. So, I've been talking about this. If this can get to 500, that would be a very clear 5 waves, and I would take probably one of my biggest short positions I've ever taken in my life, because it is a clear 5 wave setup. If this is not the top here. So again, this is the big range we were talking about, because if you don't hold this invalidates your 5 wave setup, which will set it up for extraordinary downside. So again, this is the really important area that you need to hold. It held it twice here. We'll see. We'll just see what it does. If it gets to 500 though, I'm taking probably the biggest short I've ever taken in my life. Not too much else to say than that. For the upside, this is a trend line I'd be watching if we can get up there. And same for the downside. kind of looks like a channel. We'll see what it does. Kind of wedging sort of too. We'll give it time. This is one of those things where you have to wait for one perfect setup where you can make a lot of money. So be patient with this one too. This could be a serious money maker. Couple days, a couple weeks, depending on really what it wants to do here. So onto the VIX, not too much to say. This thing is absolutely crazy. It's still respecting this trend line from an entire year ago. So yeah, very interesting. Still holding like support down here in the high teens, which is kind of normal for the VIX to just kind of like drift around here. Sometimes it gets down here, but overall you see a lot of price action in this region. So I really don't see much right now. The VIX needs some more price action to give me some structure to work with, but the really big thing to be watching here is this trend line. If you get above that, this thing could skyrocket to the 80s. Not really, you can't really say how high this could go. Yeah, very interesting spot here. Just keep an eye on this trend line if it gets back up there. So other than that, there's no gaps to work with, which is something I like to look at with the VIX, because the VIX always fills these gaps very quickly. So yeah, we'll just see what it does. I think a big level to be watching to the downside would be kind of the low 18s right here, as you can see. On the spot here, very interesting. The daily has shifted back to bullish. So every single time the daily MACD shifts, I don't know if I have these lines on this chart. Let me see if I do or not. Yeah, I do. So every single time the daily MACD flips over, regardless of which side it's on, it produces a massive move, as you can see here. Just take a look at this. So from here, sometimes it takes a little bit, like here, but good lord, like look at that rally after. So it produces massive moves. And then same thing with the downside. I mean, 20% drops basically. So it could be shifting again. You could see a crazy move to the upside, fill that gap, 430, 440, which I've been talking about for months. It has not really gone anywhere for several months. So, you know, I guess toward this range, we could be looking at a pretty major breakout soon. I think it's really likely that we're probably going to rocket to the upside. This looks like an expanding wedge to me, which the side that is less steep is the side that usually breaks, like almost always breaks. So I think I'm really looking for some decent upside here if it can break that line. If not, again, we're talking about oil, that recession, kind of just mass panic. But it's really looking like it's setting up in favor of the bulls here. So looking at futures here, I think we should be looking at a pullback soon. Kind of something like this. Just kind of a retrace, because this was quite a steep move here. But again, yeah, it's looking interesting. It's likely to get a pullback and then probably move higher. There's some serious resistance in this range right here, as you can see. So it's going to be a tough region to get through, but if it does, you could be moving up to that 420, 430, 440 region. We're just going to kind of have to gauge it as it goes, because there's not really any telling how high this last push could go, like where it'll stop. So it's a pretty wide range that I'm giving, 420 to 440, but that's just how it's going to have to be right now. So as for now, we have this channel. I'm not sure if I want to be looking for the downside right now, just because the daily is looking bullish. We saw that MACD crossing over here. And let's take a look at the RSI quick. It's sitting right under 50 across this moving average. So if you can see the RSI get back over 50, you could see a decent move. So if you look over here, that number is literally just under 50, 49.5. So we'll see if it can push back into that bearish control zone. Interesting spot here. On futures, there's also this setup I was seeing. I do this on like Thursday or something, but this could be an inverse head and shoulders. If you can see these two lines at the bottom here, you got a shoulder here at the head, and the second shoulder here, which would kind of take it up back to this region. So it's insanely volatile. I mean, look at this. The overlapping is crazy. The overlapping is where you like kind of like, so in a wave development, normally you see it make a high, then a low, and then it goes a little higher, and it holds this high as the low, and then makes one more high. But this is just overlapping into these previous retraces, which makes it pretty hard to kind of analyze. So this could also see some sort of like minor breakdown. I think it's likely to hold this low, but if not, it's a tricky spot here. So if it doesn't hold it, I would be watching. I think that 370 region. I'm gonna draw this out with the fibs. So assuming this was the high for now, yeah, just this region right here. That's a big region. So to the downside, that's what I'm looking at. Short term, I'm looking for a retrace, maybe down to this support, which isn't too far, and then probably going higher. And then we're just going to see what it does at this resistance. So other than that, there's not too much to say. If you really want to see what I'm doing in real time, make sure to join the Discord. That's down in the description. And another big thing, I am going to have a crazy semester this year with school and volunteering. I'm doing home building every weekend for 7 hours, so I could be tired in my videos. I might not be able to do my videos on Sundays. I'll just move them to Monday or something like that. But we'll just have to kind of go with the flow, adjust as everything plays out. So with all that being said, that's all I have for this video. Make sure to show the video some love if you watched the whole thing through. Give it a like and subscribe. And peace out, guys.